Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fitness Business Growth. I'm here with Allana Ford, the proud owner of Muse Pilates, 13 locations and top 100 young entrepreneurs. It's amazing.
Thank you. All I can see when I'm looking at the video is that I need a little bit of Botox.
Yeah, me
Or
too, actually. Like, me too.
I was going to say, no, I wasn't.
Yeah,
Your forehead's smooth as a baby's butt.
yeah. Well,
Very cool.
I'm having a baby in 4 weeks, so it won't be smooth after that.
It won't. Yeah,
So
you
one of the
and
topics
smooth
is
forehead.
going to be being a mother in business. So you can educate
Yeah,
me towards the back end because I am shooting myself.
yeah, no, you should be.
So
I'll give you lots of tips.
Alana, I really admire this one thing about you. And it's the fact that you've got 13 locations before you have decided to franchise and share your amazing brand with other people. Quite often, people have one, that one doesn't go too well. I'm going to franchise.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
all of a sudden, they're selling franchises in Singapore. So I
yeah.
love the fact that you've actually done it. You've walked it. You've got 13 locations. You must have a big HQ team to support different locations, different markets, different pre sales, different landlords. It is a nightmare, but you figured it out.
um, yeah, I wouldn't say nightmare. I'd say there have been a lot of challenges and a lot of things to learn. But I think once something comes up once and you can get a learn from it, and then it's easier next time, or you avoid that next time, then I know that's a win to me.
Cool. So, who was Alana before Muse? What was your experience before entering the fitness industry?
I did heaps of different things. Right before I opened Muse, I was a mum to a 1 and a 2-year-old. So I was working as an EA at a finance firm, like EA office manager. That was I tried so many different things. I get bored really easily. And I just always
Yep.
come back to doing like EA office management um, when I lived in Sydney because you get paid piss pot full of money. It's so easy. Like I'd go off and do something, I'd get bored and go back to do that 'cause it's easy.
Yep.
But I was in franchising for a couple of years, training and events, worked at a
Okay.
big events agency running events for like worldwide companies all over Australia.
Yep.
Um, Heaps of different things. But right before I
Yep.
opened Muse, I was working full time um, as an office manager in EA. And then I did my qualifications in Mat Pilates and Reformer and pre and postnatal.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
I taught at a few different studios around Sydney just to get experience.
Yeah. Awesome. So
Yeah.
you actually had real life business experience before opening up a business, and that's usually opposite. Usually they are passionate about Pilates. I'm going to open up a studio, and that's where
Yeah.
it all falls down. But you had real life experience dealing with, I guess, CEOs and high level business owners and finances, and that must have helped you so much in that first location.
Yeah, I think so. And having, my foot in a lot of different businesses at the time when I was jumping around, just really feeling the need to do something different. And then, I've learned everything. I want to do something different. I kind of felt a little bit insane,
Yep.
jumping around so much. But now I can see why I did that and really learn how different businesses work and different business models and different people too.
Yep.
I also have a business degree, so that has helped, with the foundations of
Yeah. Cool.
a lot of different things.
I think almost every successful entrepreneur I know has shiny object syndrome. They just have to chase different things.
Yeah.
So why Pilates? Where did the passion come from Pilates? Because you were early before the trend really, really started.
Yeah, I think I came on the right side of it for sure. Um, I hurt my knee years
Okay.
ago and I had to have surgery. And then from that surgery, I got a complication which is called femoral neuritis, so my femoral nerve.
Yeah, far out.
Um, it was swollen and I had to be under a neurologist and I basically couldn't walk for like 12 months. It was really fucked, to be honest. I should have been in a wheelchair, but I was like this and I was on crutches and it was a really, really shitty 12-month period and I spent most of my time at physio. And it slowly, slowly started to heal that nerve kind of stuff, but I never quite got the same, my strength in my legs from my left to my right just wasn't the same. And I used to be a bit of a gym junkie before that, so
Is
kept
he
trying to
classic,
find different
classic
things.
hit, classic CrossFit, group
Yeah,
training, bodybuilding?
totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Tried to find exercise that I could do so I could still keep exercising, and I came across Reformer, and I really
Okay.
loved it. Um, and while I loved like the actual Reformer benefits, and I could see what it was doing to my body and how it was helping my injury and recovery and everything. I just didn't find a studio that I absolutely loved. I just got my brain ticking over about how it could be done a lot better, if I'm honest.
And what didn't you like about those studios?
I felt like there was kind of no community. They were pretty blokey and plain, the spaces.
Yeah.
I don't know, just I love nice things and luxe things.
Speaking of locally and plain, I was enjoying lunch at the Green yesterday. I was taking my wife out for mat leave celebration, and I actually walked straight past your studio in Beaumont, and I will say it is beautiful. It definitely has that nice touch.
Yeah, they're all like they're not rinse and repeat. They're all slightly different depending on what was there before and kind of the bones of it. And we've really worked with each space and made them unique, but they're all pretty luxe,
So what you're saying is if I opened up a studio, it would be 10 reformers in a warehouse.
Yeah, 100%. A lot of people do that and, they still do it well. And those people that go there like that vibe, but that wasn't what I was after at all.
Okay. So you like nice things, you loved a reformer, out of necessity, had an injury, wanted to do things better. There's a huge bridge to climb between I like reformers, I like nice things, to opening up your first location. So what I really want to dive in now is what that first location looked like compared to where you are, location 13, because I'm sure you have checklists of how you choose sites, all that stuff. So let's go location 1. Where was it located? And
in
how did
Dulwich
you...
Hill?
Dulwich Hill, okay.
In the inner west in Sydney, which was quite close to where I used to live when I lived in Sydney.
Okay.
And it took about 2 years from me going, I really want to do this and I think this is a great business idea, to actually opening. I was married at the time and I was married to an accountant. So I kept doing the numbers and being like, look at them. Like, we were married. It was our money. It was a big investment. We both had to be on board. So I kept going, like, the upside to this is huge. Like, this is a really good business model.
How good is getting spreadsheet rich? We need just 200 members, 300, 400.
Yeah. So I kept, kept being like, come on. And if I'm really honest, like, we're not together anymore, but things have been rocky for a very, very long time. And I think, like, he was in big trouble one day and just said, oh, I think you should do it. Like, as a keep the peace. I think that was what actually tipped him over the edge. It wasn't my good negotiating skills.
Did you have confidence in yourself? Hey, I'm going to figure this out. Or were you nervous? Were you apprehensive? What was that process like?
I just knew there was something in my bones that was like, I know this is a good business model and I know that whatever comes up, I'll figure it out. Like, it's going to be...
Yeah. In terms of the business model itself, was it the recurring income that you liked? Well, what was it in particular that you thought this business model makes sense, makes money?
I did the numbers based on what I was seeing at other studios, how much they were charging. Like, I just reverse engineered it and went to lots of different places and saw, how full their classes normally were, what they were charging, what a worst case would be, a medium, a high. Like, I just really reverse engineered the whole process. And I thought that it was going to gain popularity. I thought that I could do certain things better that would make it more popular than the average. I don't know, just like everything in my being was like, this is a win. I have to do this.
Yeah. And just like, I have never seen anything hotter than like F45 in 2015.
Yeah.
And I say that to Pilates studio owners, and I just don't think they realize what that means. So we work with Pilates studios and they get leads for $1 in the exact same area that an F45 gets leads for $50.
Yeah.
So if you have an excellent operator who understands the numbers, it all makes sense, and you're riding a trend, that's when real wealth can be created really quickly.
Yeah.
So open up location 1. What was your pre-sale strategy, not coming from the fitness industry?
My pre-sales strategy was tell every single fucking person that I encounter what I was doing. I did letterbox drops. I did my own ads. I just like fucked around and found out and played around with Meta myself, having no experience. Walked, like I literally walked around to all the businesses around and handed the flyers and introduced myself, and like just anything I could think of, I did.
Any person that lived in that area, I'm Allana, I'm opening Muse, come check it out.
Yeah, and everyone was super excited, and like no one was like, fuck you, fuck off, get out of here. Like, everyone was like, oh, that's amazing, I'll come and I'm going to tell my sister. And
Yeah, that's like the worst. So I used to do pre-sales for well gyms
yeah.
a long time ago. We're talking over 15 years ago, and I was the guy in the shopping center stopping people in their tracks. Yeah, hang on, you were doing that, and I think I was told to fuck off probably once or twice.
Yeah.
But my secret strategy, Alana, was I'd have a tennis ball, and I'd throw a tennis ball towards, hey, catch. You'd catch, you'd stop. Like, hey, do you want to sign up? It worked wonders. But I like that you said what's the worst thing that could happen? Like, you didn't get told to fuck off. People were happy. People were excited. And if you did get told to fuck off, who fucking cares?
I was excited anyway. I don't think I would have cared, but everyone was like, oh, yay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so I had my pre-launch kind of strategy was that I would have a foundation membership, which I still maintain that I was the first person in Reformer Pilates to do that. I don't know if I definitely was, but I've never heard of anyone doing it beforehand.
So I need to stop you there
Yeah.
because I fucking hate class packs with a passion.
Yeah.
So you saw that in the marketplace. I want memberships, not class packs. Traditionally, how Pilates sold.
Yeah.
What led you down that path?
So it was a friend of mine who is extremely successful. She has a recruitment and software firm. She's business genius. We're just having chats beforehand, and she goes, just have a feeling, I want you to talk to my friend who lives in Queensland, and he does some stuff with gyms and his own gyms. I don't know what you're going to get out of it. Just speak to him for an hour. And I spoke with him, and he said a lot of gyms are doing foundation memberships, or a lot of, fitness boutique kind of places. Like I'm pretty sure it's never been done in Reformer. Why don't you give it a go? And I kind of sat with it for about a week, and I was like, no one is doing this at Pilates, Reform Pilates. I don't know why. I'm either going to completely shoot myself in the foot or it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to give it a go.
And at the time when you went to membership model and you were talking to those people on the street, you were hitting the pavement, did you hear, hey, do you guys do class packs? And you would have heard that probably more than once.
Yeah.
And that's when you have to say, no, we have a membership.
Yeah.
And this is, and this is what owners do.
It though, but people were, at the time, like I know there's a lot more deals and stuff now with Reformer, and it's not unheard of, but people, like, their jaws would hit the floor and be like, oh, I could only go to this other place 1.5 times with what you're offering unlimited. No one's going 7 days a week. Like, everyone goes a few times a week. So it worked so well for me, but everyone just thought it was the absolute fucking bee's knees, and they were like, where do I sign?
Yeah. So we tried class packs in our gyms in Newcastle, and we sold packs of 200 for $2,000. Obviously my sales team were pretty great, and we still found that an 8-month membership was better because people wouldn't come 3 times a week for 8 months. So like, you just want every single person on a membership. And then they say, oh, Allana, but people want class packs. Maybe they do, but don't present that option. Like, membership, that doesn't work for me. Class pack, maybe. But like, it kills these businesses.
Yeah, 100%. So just I just followed that thread, and it worked out so well.
So location 1 opens. What was your opening number? Do you remember? Roughly?
I can't remember. All I know is I wanted 50. That was in my head, and I smashed it.
Yeah, you would have blew past that.
I can't really remember. But I smashed the goal of 50.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, the studio's open. Your hypothesis, this works, business model works. I've got more than 50 members. Everyone's on a membership. It's reoccurring. What was that feeling like day one with your nice facility that you thought about for years and years and years before you opened?
I was excited, but I was also just like really proud. I was like, I knew I could do this, and I fucking did it. Like, yeah.
I think for us in business, like, I'm so proud of what happened when we first started. Like, today's cool, but like that first bet, that first big gamble that you take on yourself, it gives you the confidence for the next thing that you do. And our first location when we were struggling, getting by, we opened up with 509 members. It was like, fucking hell. Like, I did it with my best friend from high school. Like, it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. It's
So
so
location one's doing very well. At the
yeah.
point, were you running the vast majority of the sessions? Were you sales rep, marketer, coach still?
I did all the stuff in the background, but I didn't. We opened with so many classes. Like we opened 7 days a week with like 40 or 50 classes. Like I wanted to say to people, sign up because we're not fucking around here. And here's our full timetable. And so I've got heaps of team members on board, like lots of different people to teach all the classes that we offered. I think that is also why people signed up beforehand and just kept jumping on, because a lot of reformer studios open with like 2 classes in the morning and 1 at night, and really like, we'll just see how it goes. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
we're not fucking around. This is a proper place.
Yeah.
Sign up,
So,
like
so
all
funny,
in.
yeah. What we struggle with, Alana, we have clients that we absolutely knock out of the park, and we have clients that we really suck on. Like we have clients we sold 100 people into, and
Yeah.
clients that we sold 0. And you look at the two businesses, we're doing the exact same thing. One has 40 sessions, one has 5 sessions. And we're not bad, but I'm also not a fucking miracle worker. Like,
No, of
I
course.
can't force people into your shitty timetable. So having that full timetable from day one is just so helpful, especially pre-sale, especially if you are going from an industry that was, hey, come once a week, to, hey, you can come 5 times a week.
Yeah. If you're saying you can come as many times as you want, and really like the value of this is amazing, that's why you have to sign up. You have to offer enough for people to come and make it worth their time and their money. And people are busy, like we're busy, everyone's busy, so they need to see a time slot or options where they might be able to come, or they can't see themselves doing it and they will not hand over their money.
I think it's really painful for particular fitness business owners. We're so passionate about our own products. Why wouldn't everyone come and fit their life around me? Like, I'm so great. And like, you're right. Like, it just has to be convenient. Like, it has to be next to work, on the way to work, after work, at a time that suits them. And they won't wait 10 minutes. Like, it has to be
And we're
5:15.
really sold on it, like we're passionate about it. We know how life-changing it is. They're not sold on it yet. So it has to be convenient, or they'll find an excuse not to come and try it.
So beautiful facility, big timetable, lots of value.
Yeah.
Were you a good salesperson, or were you just hustling, believing in your own ability, the face of the brand? This is going to be amazing. Like, how did you sell and how did you create that excitement?
I don't think I'm a born salesperson. If I really believe in something, like I think I'm a pretty friendly person. And I can tell someone what I'm passionate about and try and get the buy-in, if that makes sense. But I don't think I'm a born salesperson. Like I don't think I would have the idea of going to a shopping center and like throwing someone a ball to get them to come back to me. Like that's not really my thing. I think you're a born salesperson.
Yeah. You know what, Alana? I am not a born salesperson either. I just fucking love fitness. I love fitness. Everyone in the world should do it. And like, technically, I'm a good salesperson now. Like, I know all the special techniques to use, whatever. But like, at the core, like, if you are convicted in what you are selling, like, you are transferring your conviction, your belief over to that person, and like, you can't fake that. And particularly in Newcastle, when it was my own brands, I thought every woman over the age of 30 in Newcastle should be in my fucking gym. If they're not, I take it personally. Because I know we do a good job.
Yeah. Well, I do feel like that to some extent. I feel like reformer Pilates is good for everyone, but especially like I have a 6 and an 8-year-old now, and I know that what your body goes through to grow humans, and like it's just reformer Pilates is fucking amazing. So when I first opened the studio, my kids were tiny. I think they were 1 and 2 or just turned 3. Like they were really little, and I could hand on heart say my life turned around because of reformer. And I was on crutches for a year. I couldn't walk properly, and then it helped fix my knee and get me back on track, and get me back on track after the kids. So like I kind of was a walking testimonial for it, if that makes sense.
And if you share that story, hey, the bubbly Allana you meet today, I went through a really dark period for 12 months and this really helped me get out of it. You can't fake that level of conviction.
No, exactly.
So location 1 is flying, staff in place. Allana likes shiny new objects. I'm going to open up 2. The business model's great. What happens next?
COVID hit.
COVID.
And we had to shut the studio.
I forget it was even a thing. Like I don't
Yes,
want to talk about it. Yeah.
yeah, we want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we were shut for the lockdown period that we had to be shut for periods.
Yeah.
And had to do all the things like negotiating not to pay our full rent and
Yeah.
all those kinds of fun things that everyone had to go through that had a physical
Yeah.
kind of presence.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure if I shared this story, Alana. So you've met Brody inside of Slack.
Yeah.
So she was our head trainer, and we opened up a location, our Cardiff location, March 20, 2020. So it was the day of COVID. So 2 weeks before that, me and Brody were going to Bunnings back and forth, getting paint, fixing it up, doing it all. We rushed everything to open on time. And then Scott Morrison dropped the news 10 p.m. the night before. Yeah. And I was pretty stubborn. I thought, no way. Businesses aren't closing down. Businesses won't stand for it. We're going to open. And all of a sudden, closed at midday. Yeah. And we were working with, at the time, Debit Success. And they paused all of our direct debits. So like overnight.
Yeah, we had the same thing. Yeah.
And we provided an online service. So we had to re-sign people into another payment provider, proving we were providing service. It was like the worst 24 hours of my life.
Yeah.
Terrible.
You would have been shitting yourself.
Yeah.
So we opened in December and March was the lockdown. So 4 months, but I don't know, just there was something in me that was like, we're going to open up one day soon. It was really successful before, pushing on. And I still kept looking for, like in the back of my mind, I was like, I'm going to open again. I'll open another location. So I just kept looking and thinking about how it would work with two and what I would do differently, and kind of just kept pushing on.
Just nothing changed?
No. I mean, it sucked, don't get me wrong, but I knew that it wouldn't last forever, and I knew that what I had built was really popular and that people would come back.
Yeah. I remember that period like it was yesterday. So we went 24 hours, went to online, and then Mitch, Brody, and I would jump in Cardiff Gym and we would film live sessions on Zoom at the same times the timetable was running.
Yeah.
And then we'd post them in the Facebook group and on YouTube after. So anyone looking, Breakthrough Active YouTube, there's videos of me doing tricep extensions in 2020. Like, come on, ladies. It's like the worst shit ever. The worst shit ever. But I think like it actually like, I think like the fitness industry went through such a boom. I think it was a great opportunity for people to leave if they wanted to. Because
I think so too. A lot of people, it scared the shit out of them, and they really either like halted their plans. If they were thinking about doing something, they kind of put it off for maybe a year or two, or maybe longer. I do feel like it slowed down the growth of Reformer to some extent by a year or two. That's got nothing to kind of back that up, but I really think that it would be, I mean, it's absolutely boomed. It's gone crazy now. I think that would have happened maybe 2 years earlier if it wasn't for COVID.
So where was location 2? Where was that?
2 was Hamilton in Newcastle, but it was meant to be Camperdown. The DA for Camperdown in the inner Western Sydney as well just took so long that ended up being number 3.
Okay. So Beaumont, the one I walked past yesterday, location number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And based off your first location to number 13, what we discussed at the start, all those learnings, DAs are one of those things that you have to learn. Probably the most stressful part of opening a location is going through different councils.
Yeah, it is. And there's just, the Hamilton one, I feel like it took a month. That was the quickest one that's ever been done. And maybe that was a COVID kind of thing. Not many people were submitting DAs. And then our longest one's taken 14 months. So we had, deposits down, equipment ordered, designs done up, so much money in, just sitting there, like waiting for the DA.
And what held it up 14 months?
Nothing, like the council.
Just taking the sweetheart's time.
Just call every month, like, how are we going? No. I think San Susie one might have taken, that was the second longest one. I think it took 10 or 12 months.
Yeah. We signed our first DA in 2015, and we signed our first lease in 2015, and I didn't know what a DA was. The council said, Jamie, you need a DA, and I said, what's a DA? So started going through the process, and it was like a landmark building, and we couldn't change anything, but we had to change things to get it through. I'm like, what do you want me to fucking do? And we put in a fire door, Spitfires, went through all the rigmarole, traffic reports, acoustic reports, everything. And I got to the point where I thought this guy was just fucking me around. Like, I think he had it in for me because I was calling every day, not monthly, like, hey, how's it going? How's it going? How's it going? And towards the end of like, we were opening Gen 4. This was like December 27. I ended up calling the local member of parliament, who I actually raised money for a family member at one of our charity nights.
Yeah.
Said, Ross, mate, what the fuck's going on? Please help me. And he called me back half hour later and it was approved. And that pissed
God, I need a Ross.
But that pissed me off even more because this guy was that guy was just being a dickhead.
Yeah.
So it is just, it's like,
it totally depends who you get, you know, how many other files they're working on, what they have been told to prioritize. Like, it's how long's a piece of string. It's really hard to, because you're making decisions, you're making investments and decisions on where you're going to open based on that point in time. And so if a DA takes a year, the landscape might have dramatically changed in a year. And that money that you've got sitting in, you know, with the real estate to hold that space on equipment that's just sitting there that you have to have because it could open, you've got to have equipment. You know, designs because you're waiting to give to a builder, like all of that money that you've invested that's sitting there, you could be spending that on something else. So
that scarred me so much that our next 3 locations we actually purchased that were already indoor recreation uses. That way we could just move.
I respect that so much. That would be so much better for the nervous system.
Oh, just literally
you can't put a price on your poor old nervous system.
Just find a struggling studio. It's sad, but like they will sell it to you for nothing, and just like it's actually.
I now have people reach out to me all the time, like, "Hey, do you want to buy my studio?" And most of the time, those people are paying way too much for their lease.
Yeah,
and they're just not doing they're not doing a good enough job.
Yeah,
and they've paid, you know, double what they should have on a lease, or like I'm like, no thanks.
So location 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7. At a certain point, did you think I'm the smartest woman in the world? I figured everything out. And did something go wrong in between location 2 and 13? Or I guess a better question, Allana, would be like, what has been your biggest struggle to continue to scale so many corporately held stores, which is the difference?
I never at any point ever think that I'm the smartest person ever. I think that I am someone who never fucking gives up, and I'll find a workaround, where a lot of other people would have given up and not gone, all right, I'll lose that failure as a learning, because it's not really a failure, it's a win. Like, I think that I don't think I'm the smartest person. I don't think I'm the luckiest person. I do think I just never fucking give up. And it's my mindset.
Can I get an example of something that was just an awful experience that you just kept fucking chipping away at?
I can give you so many examples.
One will do.
I've gone to a new studio a month before and it's looked fantastic. So this is in a different state, and then I've gone away, done my thing, gone back, and I've meant to be handed the keys, it's all done, and it's like not fucking done, and there's wires hanging from the roof, and we still need a certificate, and we're due to open in, you know, less than 48 hours, and just like stuff like that. And you think, how will I ever recover from this? People's like, everything starts on Monday. I don't know how on earth this can be rectified, like just stuff like that. And you think the initial feeling is, this is fucked, everything's fucked, this is going to be my undoing. And then you just like reframe it, achieve the impossible to turn it around. Like, that's happened so many times. I can't even tell you. Like, that's one example. I've got so many. You think this is it. Can't go on now, and you just fucking do.
It's like 96% of business is just constant anxiety. 2% things are going well. The other 2% is just like, I hope that works out in the future. It's just, it is a constant state of uncertainty, which is why I used to think, Allana, that everyone could be an entrepreneur, but I was wrong. Like, it takes a certain person that has a certain demeanor that can, like, I haven't been, like it's really hard for people to understand that, like, just, like, you get paid every Wednesday, every fortnight forever. It's like, oh, like, if this bet comes off in 12 months that's out of my hands because of the council, I hope so. Like,
yeah, 100%. Like, it's absolutely not for everybody. And I think that sometimes people can look at people who do have businesses and just think like, oh, you're so lucky, or you've got it so easy, that just happened. It's like, you got no fucking idea. Like,
Yeah. It must be nice to be able to control your schedule. Yeah, it is, until like something happens Friday night at 6 p.m.
yeah, like, don't get me wrong, there's so many, like, I can go over and work from Bali next week if I wanted, or if I wanted to stay in bed the whole day, I could work all night. Like, for me, the benefits so far outweigh any of the challenges that it's not even funny. Like, there's no option for me to ever work for anyone else. I don't want to do it ever. But I think people don't understand what you put in to get to that point.
Yeah. It's my biggest fear in the world is getting a job. Like getting a job
Yeah,
for someone.
fuck that.
Fucking hate
Never.
it.
No,
Never doing it. Never doing it.
never again.
So we talked about, I guess, the complexity of like opening up locations, going through DAs, going through councils, but just as big as issue is scaling people.
Yeah.
Because at one point it was Allana and probably one coach. Now it's Allana and GMs and maybe even a group manager. What does your org look like, 13 locations in, with like your structure currently?
Currently, we just sold one of the studios as our third franchise last week. So this number might not be right, but it was just before that. We had 150 employees before that.
All right. Okay.
So it will be slightly less than that now. We have, and I've just rejigged our head office as well because of the changing structure. But we've got, for the corporate owned studios, so now there's 10 corporate owned, about to be 11 with Wagga opening shortly. They all have a studio manager that looks after them. Our studio managers all look after a couple of studios, and then most of them do something else. So, our studio manager in Sydney currently looks after 4 studios. We had 2 there up until recently, and they did more teaching, and then they looked after 2 each. So it's kind of the way that the business is evolving and moving towards franchising. There have been changes, and there will continue to be changes. We then have someone in head office who looks after operations and franchising, and then someone else looks after the customer service team, and then we've got the customer service team underneath them. We've got 2 people in our marketing team, a financial controller and an accounts assistant, with having payroll for 150 people every fortnight. That's a big job. At the moment, we've also got an external franchise consultant who looks after the sale of some of our internal corporate studios as franchises. And they're also selling new franchises as well.
It's a big old business. It's a big old business, and you just didn't get lucky. Like,
it's a really
hard work.
Big business.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of moving parts, and I do think the hardest part of running a business is managing team members. Because I think you'll always, like, when you've got that amount of people, it doesn't matter how well you recruit, how well you lead, all of those things that you can do to optimize the team, there'll always be an issue.
Every day.
At the forefront, always, because people have different things going on in their lives. Their priorities might have changed. Nothing will ever be hunky-dory 100% all the time. There'll always be something going on with someone.
How have you developed as a leader? Because 5 years ago, when you opened up Studio One, you probably didn't imagine yourself, maybe you did, being a founder, CEO with 150 staff members that effectively will rely on you to get paid.
Yeah, definitely. So when I opened, I definitely did not think, I wasn't thinking more than one studio. I just thought the one studio. And before that, I worked at places where I probably managed up to about 15 or 20 people. There was never a point where I've managed up to or led up to this many people. So I kind of listened to lots of books and podcasts and joined masterminds and that sorts of things. But then a few years ago, maybe 3 years ago, when the business was growing quite rapidly, I decided to get a coach, and she coaches you in HR and leadership. So I had her for 18 months, and that was quite an intensive a program with her, and we would meet, I think it was every fortnight or every month for a few hours and go over everything. But she didn't do any of the work for you. It was kind of like, cool, what's going on? And she would come up with, or she would help you work through, situations that had arisen with certain team members or recruiting, like where's the business going and what do we need right now, but also what do we need in 6 months' time. Any kind of HR leadership thing that would come up, we'd carve out space and work through it together. And she had a background in HR and recruitment, so I found her just so helpful. And I still, to this day, always remember, I think, like, what would Paula do in a certain situation? And something that she would say quite often, when a team member does something and you just, like, you personally are so offended because you're like, oh my God, I put my, like, heart and soul into this and I treat everyone so beautifully and I'm so generous and all these things, and something comes up and you're personally offended. It's like, this isn't about me whatsoever. It's like, what does the business need? And if that behavior is not what the business needs, or the output is not what the business needs, doesn't fucking matter that I'm personally, a bit miffed about something. It's about what the business needs. And she'd always say, get curious, not furious. Sometimes you can't help it, just be like, what the fuck? Like,
how could you be so fucking stupid? Like,
totally,
it's so irritating.
You just get flooded, right? And you're just furious. And she'd be like, cool, let's get curious. Like, something broke down along the way for that issue to happen, or for someone to think that behavior was acceptable, or anything like that, like, to get curious about it. So I would say that 18 months of, like, mentorship around not just doing the do and hustling and making shit happen, like, actually leading in a really good way was amazing.
It's really good. I was so fiery growing up. I was like, when I was like 25, I was so passionate. So I took everything personally.
Oh, same.
And every year, me and Mitch go into business. We have like 3, like, call them isms that we're going to follow for the year. So last year it was high competence, high warmth.
Yeah.
So no one on earth would accuse me of not being competent, but maybe I could be a little bit warmer. So, like, always remember, Jamie, high competence, but also high warmth. Just be kind, effectively.
Yeah.
And then the other one was Better is Better Than New by Alex Hormozi. Stop doing new shit, just get better and better and better.
Yeah. I love
And
that.
the third one was Let Small Fires Burn.
Yeah,
And
I like that.
there's something in one of your studios somewhere that you don't like, you're not happy about.
Yeah.
You just got to let that fire burn, let the person responsible for that fire fix it and not get in their way, and just effectively prioritize what is the constraint today.
Yeah.
And that's been, like, the hardest thing, because you see stuff, you don't like it, you just go like, I'll ignore that for today.
Yeah. Oh, I'm guilty of that for sure. That one. I think my 2025, I'm too generous, like, to a fault. Like, I put everyone else before me all the time. Like, oh, you've done so well. Like, have the day off. You've done so well. Of course you can have a pay rise, like, to my detriment all the time. It's like, no, I built this. I work really fucking hard. I'm leading it. Like, I treat everyone well. I pay everyone well, but, like, I come first, because at the end of the day, like, I'm the leader. Like, and that's been a big learn for me.
Yeah, you just can't let people walk over you. And you don't take me as a person who can be walked over easily, but if you are generous, people will take advantage of it. And we've had staff leave that really upset me. And you pour your heart and soul into them. You pay them well above the award. You do everything possible. And then, to whom it may concern, you're like, you know who it concerns, motherfucker? It's me. Like, just call me. Like,
yeah.
So
no, but I think I've had this happen quite a few times. Like, really over and above generous, and I can't be walked over. Like, if people are rude to me or just pushy or that kind of thing, I won't allow it. Like, I'm very firm with that. But also, I'm the kind of person who, like, I want my success to be everyone's success, and everyone to be along for the ride with me, and just really generous with everyone. But I've come to the realization over a lot of key learns in the past 6 months that not everyone will be along for the whole journey. And I think over rewarding people, and, oh yeah, you want to go to that conference, you want that flight, you want that fancy hotel, you want this boat day, like, all these things. Like, if people are bought in and they're passionate about, what the business does and their role, then they'll stay. Like the other things don't really
No, not at
don't
all.
matter that much. It's not. They
No.
just come to expect it.
Yeah.
It doesn't
So,
mean anything.
yeah, at the end of the day, you need to put Allana first.
Yeah.
That's it. And Mitch and I need to put ourselves first, and we do. And what we have done is the Jeff Bezos quote. I love this quote. I love his philosophy. I guess what we do, if anyone asks for anything, we decide whether it's a one-way door or a two-way door. So one-way door, you cannot reverse that decision. So if someone asks for a pay rise, you're inclined to give it to them. You're skeptical that if you do, maybe their performance goes down or something changes.
Yeah.
Every decision we make at the moment is a two-way door. So, hey, like, I agree, you're doing great, you deserve more money. We're going to do this for the next 3 months based on these 3 KPIs. Then we'll discuss it again.
Like a bonus?
Almost like a bonus, but like before we commit, before we go all in on anything, it's a trial period. Like, hey, it's a two-way door. And that way, like, we're both aligned. But I feel people make one-way door decisions really quickly.
Yeah.
They can't reverse, but then they really overthink the two-way door ones. When if the expectation with the staff member or even a customer is a two-way door, well, like you can always reverse out of it. Sorry.
I feel like people are they overthink doing the two-way door thing more because then they have to be the baddie and take something away or say that didn't work. Like that, from my point of view, is why people wouldn't do that. But I really love it.
Yeah, we just track everything. I mean, like, I've got Google Sheets, a Google Sheet empire of like every single thing that happens in our business. And it is so clear if someone's doing their job or not. So for example, a studio manager, hey, your performance is tied to one thing, positive net member movement. Nothing else. I don't care how nice you are. Like, I don't care how many Google reviews you get. Like, this is the number. This is the score. This is what I will judge you off.
Yeah.
And if you can get so fucking clear on that one number and that the studio is growing by 10 members a month, well, great. Like, I'm happy to reward you, right? So I love Sam Ovens. Have you heard of Sam Ovens?
No.
He's an old school, he's like the first business coach ever, like from New Zealand.
The OG.
The OG. He founded School with Alex Hormozi.
Okay.
He's got podcasts that are like 5 years old, and it's just 45 minutes of him talking into a really poor quality microphone.
Yeah.
And he just says that, like, hey, like, everything you do is just a waste of time. It's all garbage. Don't worry about the conferences. Don't worry about the boat parties. Don't worry about the hotels. Just literally, like, what is that thing?
Yeah.
And for Mitch and I, we're constantly searching for, like, hey, like, if it's not growing that one number, then everything else is a waste.
Yeah.
And just getting so clear on that. It's really hard to do, right? Because like if you judge someone against one number and that number isn't going up, also, then the bad conversation comes.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess we've got like 45 staff, so I can't even imagine what 150 is. But I love all of them, but it has taken a while to, I guess, have the systems in place.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a big team.
It is. Franchising. So you got 13 locations. You've just sold 3 corporates into franchising.
Yep.
I listened to you on a podcast about 3 months ago on Jack Henderson's podcast. Love that podcast, by the way. Really good property guy. You said something really, really important, and I want to share it with the audience. You saw other people doing it that you felt like didn't have the right to do it.
Yeah.
So you thought, well, why can't I do it?
Yeah. And I do, as a personality type, if I'm ever feeling a little bit envious about something or like I just get curious and lean in. And I'm like, when this was happening and it was a particular group that was doing it, and I said to a friend of mine, like, I'm not in a dick way, like I'm not a dick at all. This sounds a bit dicky, but it's like, oh, my group is bigger and I think doing a lot better than theirs, and they're doing it.
Well,
and she was like,
I'll come over the top, Allana. Like, I've been banned from franchises. and the reason being is because I've been around the block long enough. I didn't come down the last dust storm. What are you fucking selling these people? Like, it's such a serious thing that you're doing, and you've proven your model for 5 years, 13 locations, multiple locations, multiple states, multiple sites, multiple DAs. Like, you've fucking done it.
Yeah.
And the idea that someone opens up one that might not be successful, get a franchise consultant and sell number 2, like, it is I'll say it. It's a fucking
Wildly
scam.
responsible.
It's a scam, right? And like I talk to a lot of gym owners, right? And I'm on the back end of these conversations, like, hey, like I was promised this.
Yeah.
Honestly, it does my fucking head in,
Yeah.
because like if I sign a client on that doesn't get results, it keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
But I can't even imagine 5 years and potential bankruptcy.
Yeah.
So like it is just such a serious thing, and like you've done it the right way. Like the number one thing I admire about you is that you've done it, in my opinion. What the fuck do I know? But you've done it the right way. Where like, hey, I've proven this time and time again.
Yeah. Well, when I was starting to see other people doing it, and I just thought like how we could support franchisees and what I had built, I just thought at that point when I started to feel that those envious kind of feelings, I really I lent into it, and I was like, it's time for us. It's like if these other people are doing it, I feel like we're doing things so much better. We're ready. Like let's go in. And that process still took 18 months to get everything together and do it the right way, and it's a long process when you're doing things properly. I felt ready.
And what do you feel is going to be the hardest part about franchising? Is it going to be finding the right people? Is it the right locations? Like what are you looking for in a potential franchisee?
I mean, I've said no to people that have come through and met with me. I've been, nope.
I need to pause there.
Yeah.
Because it's very, very hard to say no to money.
Oh,
I don't care.
no.
I don't care how much.
Not all money is equal to me. It is just not.
Okay.
So if I don't get a good gut feel with people, I just say no thank you to the franchise recruiter. I do not want to meet with that person again. It's a no from me. And I have had one guy come back a few times, like really cranky, be like, I want to know exactly what. I want that. Like like really, really upset. And I was like,
the fact that he's saying that's the ultimate red flag.
Yeah, I just got this feel. I want people to come in to the network and work with me and just be really respectful of what I have been able to build and the expertise that I have to offer. I'm not always right. I say to our franchisees all the time, if you have any ideas, you give me a call. You might be able to teach me something at one point. Like I'm always open to chats and experimenting with things, but I just got this one particular guy, just super arrogant, talked over me quite a bit. No experience whatsoever in the industry, that's not a deal breaker for me. It's the right type of human.
Yep.
Everything in my body just said no. And it was really hard to put it into words in a professional way, how to go back to him with feedback. But it was just like a big fucking no.
Yeah.
Like I can't even explain it.
Yeah.
And then others weren't as like a big fucking no. They were just like, I doesn't feel like a good fit to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I truly believe not all money is equal.
Yeah. Just 5 years with the wrong person is a long time. Like
No
a
way.
long
If
time.
I can't see myself, this is another way that I judge it, spending a lot of time with that person, a lot of phone calls, a lot of in-person, really it's a partnership. They're growing my business and I'm helping them to grow their business. If I am not aligned and can't see myself on the phone with them quite a lot, meetings quite a lot, it's everything my body's just like, hell no.
Well, it's no different to being a gym owner and you've got that one really, really, really annoying member. And every time she calls you, you're just like, oh, I don't want to answer my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I call it the airport test. You're stuck in an airport, the plane's delayed 2 hours. Could you sit in the airport area for 2 hours with that person? Seriously.
I love that.
Yeah. And it's just it's an interesting thing because we looked at franchising back in the day, but I just I'm not against franchising. It was more just like 5 years with like it would be such a serious decision to bring someone on.
It is a really serious decision because it's not like bringing on a team member, and if they, obviously bringing on a team member is a big decision. You need to be able to afford it, have the right role for them fit in with that role really well. See them within the business for the foreseeable future. But you can also, if they're not doing the right thing, it's a lot easier, that formal process that you have to go through to discover that they're not right and end that relationship. It's like it's a huge, huge thing to ever try and get rid of a franchisee. It's not good for you. It's not good for them. It's not good for the brand. Like
The most success we had with hiring for our fitness businesses were actually members. They loved it. They lost weight there. They got the result. They went through 100 sessions. They kind of knew everything there is to know about the business. And we found a ton of success in that. So have you had people that are members approach you to purchase? Like what is the perfect avatar for a Muse?
So one of our franchisees now was a member first. So that's one out of the other. So we have 3 of the Muses are franchises. 2 are owned by the same couple. They've just purchased their second one, which I absolutely like. That makes me so happy that they were so happy with their first Muse that they bought about a year ago that they bought another one. Like that just makes my heart happy. So I think that it lends itself to someone who, I mean, you've got to be interested in entrepreneurship, obviously, but not such an entrepreneur that you want to go rogue and just do everything yourself and not someone who wants that support too.
I'd call them an entrepreneur. They have all the entrepreneur characteristics, maybe a little bit less risk tolerant than you, and you're kind of giving them a playbook to follow.
Exactly. And I think that people that are more inclined to be a franchisee love being around other people and kind of having those systems and structures. And but being an entrepreneur can be a bit lonely. Like at the end of the day, you're the one making all the decisions. The buck stops with you. Sometimes you've got to be the baddie, make the hard calls. And I think just having that support structure when it's done well is like you can't. That's amazing.
It's also having belief too, because if 12 locations are great and one struggling, we're like, what are they doing that I'm not doing? It's like a proven success formula. Like, hey, just follow this and it's going to work out.
Exactly. So now we've got the numbers and the data there that we can just say like, these things work. This thing that doesn't work. We've tried it before, or like we can speak to anything that might come up. Hand on heart, know what works and what doesn't. We're not making anything up.
I just love the data so much in regards to like, hey, like you cannot be paying this much rent. It needs to be below that price. You need to be able to fit this many reformers to have this many sessions. And more importantly, in the pre-sale location 1, I was knocking on doors. You can do that, but if you had 5,000 for digital, that's certainly going to help. So just have that absolute game plan.
Totally. Like you name it, and I've done it, and now across like 3 states as well. So it's the history.
That's probably the most important thing, like the fact that you've proven it across so many different locations, because I'm sure you've noticed like they can be 10 kilometers apart. They may as well be on different planets. So,
100%.
We had 2 locations in Newcastle that was 7 kilometers apart. You're in Newcastle, Cardiff and Adamstown. And Cardiff is like suburbia, mums and dads, and Adamstown's uni students. So like they were completely different businesses.
Yeah, we've got some of ours are only, I think our closest one might be 4Ks together, and completely different.
So what's your ambition for the franchise? Is it 100? Is it 150? Is it 200? How do you see it going?
Like my ego wants to be like 100, but I don't know. That's like when everyone starts business, they're like, I just want to make $1 million a year. That's the like my ego saying that. I think the 100 is like that. If I'm being really honest, that's my ego. I really want to keep growing because I absolutely love the communities that we build, and being able to do more of that and having the franchisee in the studio and that being their like little Muse baby, and like it helps us grow. So I want it to keep growing. I don't know. I trust my gut and my instinct a lot, so I'll know when it's right to really push harder, when it's right to stop a little bit with the.
It is such a good sign that franchise number 1 bought their second location.
I know.
Imagine if they bought 10, how much easier that is for you.
It just it honestly makes me so fucking happy that they love the business, they love the community, they love the results, they love the support that they're getting from the team enough to go, cool, here's our money, we're gonna do it again.
So good.
Yeah.
So, reformer, the hottest thing on planet Earth. Why do you think it is, and how do you see it going over the next 10 years?
It's so fucking popular because it's resistance training where you're not going to hurt yourself and you're not being like you're being encouraged, you're not being flogged commando style.
Yep.
Like you can take it easier or harder on the day depending on how you're feeling. I don't know, like it gets results without absolutely flogging you. I don't know, like I love it.
Yeah. I've just honestly never seen anything hotter in my life than like, we're talking like peak F45 before they opened up 1,000 locations. So it is something that is just like, it wasn't a thing 5 years ago, and now it's just everywhere.
But I don't know, it's a full body resistance workout without you having to like gym bro down. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I know some people love that. Most women do not. And once you reach 30, you don't want to be like lifting heavy weights and like it gets results.
So your Muse is being so nice and pretty and just that really high end studio.
Yeah.
Do you have a dream in mind of like a 5-star studio that's like next to your house that you're going to run and every possible finish and touch on it? Have you got like a vision of what Muse is in the future?
Oh, I would love that. I was actually going over some Wagga things before. I'm not moving to Wagga. But geez, this Wagga studio is going to be like next level. Just sauna, red light, creche, like we're really upping the ante.
So cool.
So I'm in Newcastle's pretty close to me. I'm in Merriweather. It's only a couple of kilometers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see one day having like this U-Butte kind of day spa attached to it with just everything, and
cool.
That would be my ultimate. Whether that happens or not, I'm not sure.
It's actually amazing what happens between location 1, 5 years of all those learnings to what it is today. It's whenever you start the business, it's not what you think it's going to be. It's amazing.
No, I think being just really open-minded and curious to what's working, what's not working, like really just leaning in to what is working and following that thread and what people want just gets results.
So Allana, I have to plug our VA service because it's fucking great.
Yes.
So Allana booked a call with me probably about 2 months ago, maybe 6 weeks ago. And I said, oh, do you have a VA? And she's like, oh, I've thought about it, but I was always hesitant. I was always skeptical. You've now hired 4 in the last 6 weeks. So what I love about you, good entrepreneurs execute fast. They get one, they just start running with it. But in all seriousness, brutal honesty, like how have you found not just a recruiting experience through us, but more importantly, the VAs working in your business, and I guess what you think is going to happen in the future with them?
So to your point of, moving quickly, like I do, if something works for me, I like just double down. I don't fuck around with anything. I have looked into this over the years and just it didn't feel right. And when you brought it up, I was like, now's the time. It felt right, so I wanted to explore it further. And the interviews were fantastic. The team members are fitting in really well. It really, really excites me. There's so many things we can do.
At the end of the day, like it just saves you so much money. If you have an excellent virtual assistant that's trained well, you treat them like an Australian employee with love, kindness, respect. How's your day? How's your family going? They are unbelievable. And I actually think they're better than most Australians at like the work they actually do, because they do it all day long. It's like it's their passion, right? It's the data entry, it's the systems, it's the messaging, it's the follow-up, it's the emails. And we've even found that our VAs actually make our systems better. Like, hey, Jamie, let's create this zap into this automation, into this G drive, into this form, into this sheet, because you're wasting my time.
Yeah. Good.
So they're so good. And just like, I guess people are really skeptical because they're number one, they're offshore. Number one, the perception of you hiring offshore staff, are you paying slaves? Like, I hate that thought, but that's what people have that don't know what it is. But the Australian dollar just goes so far in the Philippines. And I was making a joke before, our highest paid VA, I think like pound for pound per capita, whatever word you want to use, he's richer than both of us combined.
He's balling over there. He's got a new Range Rover. He's, going with private jets to his island.
Yeah. So we've got 5 in our business at the moment, and they really, really they pretty much do everything in our business that isn't talking to another person, either over the phone or on Zoom. And when someone asks, what can they do? Well, that's the answer. like everything.
Yep. No, I'm so impressed, and I think the difference that this is going to make to our bottom line is just amazing. And I love traveling and going on holidays, so let's book some holidays.
Go to the Philippines. One more thing. I don't want to make you late, but Spicy Pilates, your training program. So the reason we started our VA program is because fitness business owners would interact with our VAs, and they said, hey, I'd like a VA. And I'm guessing you went through a similar experience. Hey, I want to be an instructor. And you would send them elsewhere. So how did Spicy come about?
Yeah, so for years, the clients would come to us and say, I'm interested. I love Reformer Pilates. I'd love to get qualified. Where do I go? And we were sending them elsewhere. And then, there are good courses out there. I'm not shit canning anyone else's course by any means. But we would get them back, and then we would kind of go through how we like things done at Muse and the style that we want and that kind of a thing. And it just got me thinking, sending money away, like consistently sending it away. I was just curious into what it would take to then, start our own course. And I, set about putting the team together to create it. And then I've got my qualifications as well. And then I went to do my Cert 4 in training and assessment too, so that I could have that.
That would have been a fun course.
Fuck me. That was the worst thing I've ever done. I love study so much. Like, I've got a business degree, diploma in financial planning, Reformer like all my Reformer certs, event planning. Like, I love study. I can't get enough of it. I love courses. This was the most painful. I think it took 10 months. Like, it was every spare second I was like, no, I've got to do the course. Like, it was the fucking worst. But now I've got it. And so set about creating it. I did the course. So we made the Reformer course first and got that all certified and everything. And then we set about doing the MAT course too. So now people can come through and get certified in Reformer Pilates and MAT Pilates. And then instead of sending people away, we can just refer them to our sister business.
It's a Muse ecosystem. They join the program. They love it so much. They get certified. They buy a franchise, rinse and repeat. 100 locations in 5 years.
Woohoo!
So, Allana, last question. I ask this on every podcast, if I remember. What's one question I should have asked you that I didn't ask you about the journey over the last 5 years?
Oh, I love fun. So maybe what's the most fun part of the whole journey? And I can't even think of the answer, but I think I follow the thread to joy and fun. That's just my...
Yeah, the fun is the journey. That's what people don't understand. It's not the destination. It is the DA was 48 hours. My world's falling apart. I'm going bankrupt. My staff hate me. I question the meaning of life, to figuring it out, to solving the problem. Studio opens up, and all of a sudden, life's great again.
It's all
and I think those stories of when you're just absolutely in the thick of it, they're the ones that you're going to remember in 10, 20, 30 years' time.
Yeah. Yeah. Even the stories where in the moment you're just like, fuck this, fuck everything, fuck my life. You can still look back and you can see the funny side of it, or have a laugh about it.
Yeah.
There's been so many fun times.
Well, Lana, thank you so much for coming on. I really, really appreciate it. I've liked getting to know you the last 2 months. I wish you all the best in Muse in the future.
Thank you so much.